Arthuriel's echo makes it slightly harder to time.
I almost can't hear you.
'Cause
It's
all
that
I-
bad.
Oh, wow.
Okay. This is a wonderful start to this Let's
Oh,
Play.
wow. Okay, that's quite a nice look at this nice menu.
Yeah.
The rotator.
Mr. Hare. Mr. Crow. Report!
We've lost him, sir.
I don't want your excuses.
Disappeared into the clouds.
Which way was he heading?
Station, sir. He has the documents.
Danvers has seen and heard too much. He knows about the chasm and D-Labs. He could have seen the experiment.
How? The firewalls are hacked.
To those on the outside, yes.
Ah, he's one of us.
Perhaps I can think of a better.
So it's a secret lab, but they can't afford reliable electricity.
Yeah.
Only candles.
Only cameras.
It's like steampunk laboratory.
Yeah, it's
We
gonna
don't have the power to turn on the lights, but we do have the power to run all of these computers.
And I know
Yeah.
he's
Also, don't worry about talking over the dialogues. I'm gonna
Okay.
release a non-commentary version, so you can keep talking as much as you'd like.
Oh, right. Sorry.
No, it's fine.
I think on the left side that was like a joystick combined with like a Panasonic Toughbook for outside.
Yeah. Anyway, welcome to our Let's Play of The Lost Crown, a ghost hunting adventure game. That was the intro to the game, and this
Oh no,
Let's
it
Play
was
will be going
something.
through, well, hopefully, as much of the game as possible. And I got these two people here. Well, introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Ben, and I'm an absolute twat.
Arthuriel, please.
I exist, and
Okay.
I also have a nickname. Arthuriel.
Good enough.
Well, that's a.
And I'm Mr.TheSweDragon, and I'm doing this probably a terrible idea. But the reason I'm doing this is because this game can be a bit complicated at times, with the puzzles being a bit illogical at times. Also, there's going to be a lot of reading, which I would rather just summarize instead of spending all time reading. But for now, it's just introduction. Enjoy.
Speak of the introduction, a lot of that felt like it was animated in PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Really, it's just, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a
That
lot of...
simplicity.
It's going to be a lot of questionable things, but overall, you might find... I think you'll find the story very interesting.
All change, all change, all
All
change.
change, all change.
All changed, no budget for CGI.
Right, getting my notes. Is it recording well? Yeah, I think so.
We could only afford one color.
Ah, yes, the E2.
Okay, so the tutorial will change the beginning of the game slightly, in which an item you receive from this guy later on will be given. You have to pick up yourself.
How do you know my name?
I'll explain later.
You've told me. In between kips. Kips? You mean I woke up? Oh yes, I should say so. Quite chatty you were.
And the guy to the right is our main character.
That's an impressive old trade,
You mean the left?
sir.
Oh yes, left. Sorry. This is going
Oh
on.
my god, I would totally play this game if you played as the conductor.
Yes, this serious conductor. Yeah.
No, that's how you beat the game early. You switch to the conductor, get on the train, and fuck up, and you win the game.
Yes.
Oh no. Does it become like a Thomas the Tank fanfiction?
Oh god, no.
It's funny you mentioned that because that's actually an E2, which is the actual locomotive that Thomas was based on.
Unless I've been getting it wrong.
Oh no. Oh, now I get what you meant with E2. I was like, who's E2?
Yeah.
It almost
Apparently
sounds
they
like a
were-
rejected R2D2 unit. Like, I'm only
I was
E2.
thinking so
See
too.
your chances, do ya?
There was a really good like mini documentary I found online talking about the E2s. And apparently they must have this. It sounds by the sounds of it, they were probably one of the worst tank engines in existence. and they've pretty much all been scrapped because of how terrible they are. And the only reason people like it is because of its association with Thomas the Tank Engine.
Before boarding. Usually, out of flood season.
So it's a bit like with the DeLorean and Back to the Future, who also had problems, as far as I can remember.
Our last stop.
I presume so.
No passengers for the return journey.
Except, unlike the DeLoreans, there are literally no E2s left in the world. They were all scrapped.
Really all? Not
Yeah,
like
all
even
of
one
them.
recreated? Or?
Not a single one was preserved.
Mr. Danvers.
They were so terrible, nobody wanted them anymore.
Imagine like a YouTube review of an E2. Here are the E2s and they are all terrible. Like instead of about talking about movies, about trains, like they all suck.
Yeah, so right now I'm just taking a look around the area, which you can see like various little bits of
Sexton Hale!
Saxon. Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, that was the first thing I thought of when I saw Saxton.
Yeah.
Isn't it like from Team
Australia.
Fortress?
Yes.
Oh,
Anyway,
yeah,
so
yeah,
this-
that guy.
All these things are just like there just to give atmosphere to the whole game. How this area seems to actually be like civilized and there are things there.
Beware of the trains, they are very, very dangerous.
They are right there. Beware of the trains.
They are
or They will
trains.
eat you.
They come for human
They
flesh at night.
consume you spiritually.
Yes. The train is actually haunted. It's the first ghost you have to deal with.
Ooh.
Wow.
Okay, so right
Imagine
here...
that guy going to light speed. That's
Yeah.
going to take
My
forever.
god, that walking animation.
Yeah, the walking animation is wonderful. So we
Initiate
can't actually
slug
proceed
speed.
right now because we have to talk to conductor a bit more.
This could be my last chance.
It's a bit awkward how we progress in this game. Danvers won't go to anywhere unless he knows where he's going.
Rotates.
So we get to talk to...
He's got like German simulator walking.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yes, sir. Can
Where it's just like interpolation between two frames.
An onion frame. Oh, dear me.
Like, one frame is just 1 foot forward, the next frame is the other foot forward, and it just interpolates between the two of them.
across the fen?
Why doesn't the train go there?
The floods, Mr. Danvers. I did say. During the spring, the line ends here, at Sedge Marsh.
Can I get to Saxton on foot?
Oh, easily.
Wow, that's
sir.
exciting.
Follow the path through to Saxton.
Big town, is it? Phone, food, a bed?
Big enough. You'll
Follow
find
the
all you
path.
need.
It sounds like a
Treasure
cult,
it.
like follow the path.
Why do you see?
Oh,
No,
no.
Oh, with this music.
I see. Very well. I'll see for myself.
That you will. Oh, seeing as you're heading that way,
What?
I found this.
Okay,
on
so
the
this was
train.
what we talked about
You
before.
lady must
If you pick the tutorial, you will actually have to pick this wallet off the road before.
What can I
Ah.
If you didn't, like how you didn't, you would have to be given it by station master by talking a second time.
I didn't catch your name.
I have a question. Is it one of those games where you make like one mistake, it will come back to you like hours later and
No.
you lose?
No,
Thank
it's not
God.
that. It's not that kind of game.
Okay.
last
I
thing
think
we
there are
need
several
is
situations
a
where you're in
Sierra
danger,
style
but you're
game.
never actually at risk of dying. Anyway,
Oh,
so
that's
these
good.
reports. Okay, first summary. These reports are basically of Mr. Crow and Mr. Hare making a research of some kind of supernatural portal where humanoid creatures seem to be trying to reach out.
Oh no.
And these papers here are of Danvers apparently hacking into the network to gain the data, information, and pictures of the supposed Project Darkfall. But it was caught, and that's why he's here, being hunted down by Mr. Haddon and Mr. Hare and Crow.
I love how every time this guy looks at these I don't know if I'm mishearing this, but I swear every time this guy looks at this letter, you just hear like AOL logging in noises, like
Yeah, you do. And these are the
It's
pictures he
having like
downloaded.
PTSD flashbacks to the early years of the internet.
Yeah, it
That
is.
looks like the bottom of a glass or something like.
Oh yeah.
Those are the posted as the portals and the humanoid creatures coming out. And
Actually, it kind of
Photoshop.
it looks like man, that face. Look at this hottie.
The most legit ID ever. It costs
What is
50 cents.
What is this?
Hired
My number to
card.
work? I don't know.
Is
such a
this
thing.
one of the IDs that comes from those spam bots that occasionally appear on Rock Raiders United?
And here's the wallet. And one of the three interesting things is that the wallet is dated 2007 and 2010. And the ticket goes from Sedgemarch to Sedgemarch. So basically it's basically the same place.
I mean, you can also go in the same region. I think that's.
Yeah,
at
but it's
least with
literally the
bus
same
tickets.
place. It's Sedgemarch right here. So it was a ticket to this exact place here. So literally you can just get on the train and get right off and for the ticket.
I mean, it's the cheapest option, and also the
To
most
get
stupid
nowhere.
one. Wow.
And
8 million years later,
welcome to the
we will arrive
Sedgemarch.
on the next screen.
And this is the little ghost list you get from the game occasionally. And these things give you an idea what you're supposed to do, but you don't get like check marks of what you've done and so you're kind of on your own in that remark. Still, you can check it whenever you want to remind you what you need to do for the day.
Oh, sweet, quick question regarding the recording. Did you make sure that your voice is being recorded or our
Yes.
voices are being recorded?
I made sure everything is recorded properly.
Fantastic.
And these are not really anything of interest. It's just about the animals that and insects that live in the marsh, and a little bit about its history, like how ancient ancestors used this as a hunting ground for food and such. And the blue flowers are apparently poisonous plants that contains metrotoxins. And it's one of the few things that are actually colored in this game.
Is that information important for later on in the game?
Not really. It's mostly just there for aesthetics reasons. There's a lot of things.
Right.
It's got a lot of there's a lot of aesthetic stuff in this game,
Can you
kinda
get
ca-
addicted to them?
which kind of makes it hard to figure out what you're supposed to do.
It
Since
doesn't give you rot, for God's sake.
Oh no! We
And-
keep Armello out of this game.
Arthuriel, is that what you'd do if you were in this man's shoes? It's like, ooh, this stuff gives me rot.
so
To grind it up.
anyway, this old man is also of no importance, but this shed is actually important later on, a bit later in the game. But right now we can't do anything. And so we're going out and exploring the march.
I wonder if you can calculate how fast or slow this guy goes.
You can double click to skip areas,
Ah.
Symbolic images.
which I do sometimes. And yeah, ancient graffiti.
Ancient graffiti.
Ancient graffiti by ancient.
Ancient Banksy.
Yeah.
Imagine if it just says something rude like, this guy is a bum or something.
Yeah.
Like a really...
Fuck! Capital letters.
And here I tried to go past the actual.
I should find the owner of the
Yeah, the Dammers doesn't want to proceed until you try to find the lady. Like
Oh.
a true stalker. And this frog, we can do something with him later, but not right now. And in fact, you can only interact with the frog if you come from that direction, by the way. If you go the other
Oh.
way, you'll Dammers to scare the frog away as he approaches the middle of the bridge.
Oh wow, good design.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not as bad as Dementia, or to use its US title, Armed and Delirious. But yeah.
There's someone out there. Amongst the reeds.
I mean, we have flies, so we have what, I guess. Wow, perfect.
Animation.
this lady must.
I
I
mean,
think
your
this lady's
books
got
don't look that
arthritis in her
slippery.
knees or something because she's jerking a lot.
I have no knees and I must go on this one. The least
Catch her
disturbing.
later. Anyway. So now we can actually proceed to the actual town. But first, here's a piece of a sign. And I think this actually is important to be able to perceive the game properly. I recall I showed this game off to these guys before, and something that was supposed to occur did not occur. And I think it's because I didn't complete this sign before.
Oh no, not that thing.
Yeah.
Is
Also,
it like you have to How many do you have to collect of those pieces? Like 8 or 6?
3 pieces. One is spoilers. One is already in this place where the science is supposed to go. So you just need to collect 3.
Next stop, Norway.
And I have decided to skip ahead because you already seen this area.
I like how it describes everything in dramatic tones. Imagine at home, like, I watch TV, the screen is dark. Now I
Yeah.
turn it on.
Yes.
Apart from when he's analyzing a rusty sign and says, "Oh, it's a rusty sign."
Yeah.
Full stop.
Yes.
It's wrong. Rusty sign piece number 5. Although I've only seen one so far.
By the way, so sort of signs on the march are basically the same thing. So there's nothing, no need to summarize that. And I think, yeah, the last piece of the sign is over here. I'm kind of curious which one I missed earlier.
It almost looks like a car sign, like.
It really does. It looks like a car license plate.
Yeah, exactly.
It is a metal sign, so I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
That license plate says W-A-R-E. Better report that to the police.
Yes. I found a sign near the beach. Who's, do you think
It all
you know
makes
someone?
sense when I glue them together.
Okay, so here's the rotating minigame. We have to put the pieces together. I think in an early version of this game, they rotated a lot slower. And I accidentally exited like a doofus, have to put the pieces back together. But yeah, anyway, in an earlier version of the game, these pieces moved a lot slower. That may seem tedious, but I actually would prefer it because these pieces move very fast. Makes it kind of hard to adjust them just right.
Yeah.
What they could have done is just make you like click and drag on them. That way you could be more precise.
Yeah, but that would actually be clever design.
That would actually be good game design.
Yeah. This game has a good story, but not good game design.
And we just talk over the story all the time.
Anyway, creepy things in the cave. Let's go.
Let's go to the engine.
Yes.
Let's die.
Let's die to Let's die to what's the word? God damn it.
Together?
No, let's die to
Oh
rock
my
sides.
god. I've just figured out what this guy's like dramatic speech is reminding me of.
What?
It's reminding me of the protagonist from Limbo of the Lost.
Okay.
Oh no.
I don't know what that is.
Jesus.
That must be a
Anyway,
good time.
so newspaper. This is actually very important.
I'll say this, I would not be surprised if this game was made by the same company that made Limbo of the Lost.
Anyway, so this newspaper mentions that the spring tide causes treasure to be revealed, so treasure hunters come out seeking the treasure. One of the notable treasures is the lost Anglo-Saxon crown. That is often sought after and yet to be found, and kind of becomes the big thing in the game. And this newspaper talks about how corpses from our ancient graveyard has been being swept to sea and floating up to the shore, disturbing the people. And this has caused trouble with fishing business.
Skin peel stops body odor.
Yeah.
Oi, I'm not dead yet. Get me back. Like, oh no, the undead.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about body odor when all your flesh has been ripped off.
Yeah. And Cthulhu.
Some kind of sea monster.
Besides, with exception to the newspaper about the crown, none of these things are really that important. Again, just to give backstory and atmosphere.
Can you collect the bottles?
No.
Some browser game you collect like 50. You get like nothing.
And that
for
boy
it.
is blocking our passage to the actual town.
I like how the boy isn't really even trying. It's like,
I think he's trying to play with a crab, but the quality of the video is a bit eh. And dog and old lady.
I bet the guy has like no constitution, or he would break apart. Like speed limit reached, reactors breaking.
Slide all the way.
Oh, I can deactivate slide mode, and then at the end of the game.
Excuse me?
I'm sorry, I should have said good evening.
Cryptic old lady. And beautiful dog animation.
What is that? Underwater.
Rather tail and head.
Dark and shapeless. It could almost be a small body, couldn't it?
Oh, man.
If it's a tree stump, it's not shapeless.
We should.
Oh no, a child who is also turned into a
This is
tree.
another dead
It
child.
must
See,
be an
don't worry.
ant from Lord of the Rings.
Is Saxton near?
Tree boy is dead.
I
No.
like how the protagonist is totally fine after the woman says, "Oh no, let's not call for somebody to fish out that potentially children's dead body
Yeah.
of the beach." And he's like, "Okay."
Yeah.
I've no idea.
That happens a lot. He seems to be surprisingly cool with a lot of things that normally you shouldn't be cool with.
As you can see in his amazing walking animation, like,
Yeah.
High
can't be
tides
bothered.
flood the
Yeah.
fences. No
I
one
can't be bothered to.
He just glides most of the way.
He must be having like magical healings that allows him to glide everywhere.
Emergencies and the like.
Oh, I see. Oh,
I wonder if he uses Heelys to move around. It would explain why he slides around
Yeah.
a lot despite walking.
That is a theory.
I'm seeking bed and board in the town.
the bear is most likely to provide what you need.
A bear? Oh, you mean a hotel?
No, I mean the bear. You can't miss him. He'll be swinging tonight.
I'm sorry.
Oh, tippy me. I'm
Imagine if it's
teasing
like
you.
a
You shall
cruel god, like obey the bear or you will be
Yes,
destroyed.
Mr. Atkins, I'm sure you are.
Am I expected?
Who
Oh,
cares?
yes. For some
What?
people, you may change it all.
Am I? Did you expect my presence?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a totally natural thing to
My
ask.
fortune.
Yes, you and the others.
It's like you just. But I would be surprised if this guy went to a restaurant and when one of the waiters came up to get his order, he says, "Did you expect me to arrive?" It's not. If you did, then you know what I want to order.
Probably unlike.
Ancient treasures.
Perhaps. That and people's fortunes.
I wonder if this is about treasures.
Yeah.
Like picking up like at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Feel free, young man.
Anyway, we're almost done here.
Is that your dog?
Yes. George and I have been
Oh, that
companions
dog
for
doesn't
many,
shut
many
up.
years.
A woman's best
That's basically every dog. They never shut up.
I'll leave you.
I know we haven't gotten very far in the game, but I have a prediction for what's going to be like the big twist at the end of the game. Based on these character animations, I'm willing to bet that at the end it's going to reveal that all the human beings are actually robots in some sort of Professor Layton and the Curious Village twist where the entire town was robots.
Really interesting. Anyway, the boy's gone now, so we can actually get to town.
I bet there's like a really obvious sign like secret town, do not enter. Like, okay. Except at the one entrance where he goes through.
And lobsters.
I think I'll pass on the local delicacy.
Yeah, nothing really much of interest in this beach. I think at some point we run into a cave we can explore later. Yeah, over there.
Oh come on, we could have filmed like a food episode with that rotten fish, like, oh, it's disgusting. And he just passes on it.
Sea creatures?
Yes, Danvers, those are sea creatures. Well done.
Yes, they're clearly underwater. They're clearly in the sea.
Sea
Well, they're-
creature.
Oh, they're on the shore. I guess that's close enough.
I guess.
wonder-
It's
I
too
wonder
dark
how
to
the
see
guy
by
copes
my own
with
eyes.
eating fish, like, it's a sea creature. Oh no.
Gets a plate of beef. It's the part of a cow.
I eat the flesh of a sea creature. Eat your damn fish sticks. No. Oh,
No, it's one of the rare occasions where you just go, "It's a fish."
Yes.
At
And
least he doesn't say he must exist or
now swimming
breathe.
in the waters. It's filled with corpses.
I love how that seagulls make. I was about to make a joke, but I'm not entirely certain if seagulls are able to make that noise without opening their beaks, so never mind.
Oh no.
I think I'll pass on the local delicacy.
Yep. Stab's not a fan of fish, I guess.
Yeah, we know you will pass on everything, including walking
Yes.
properly.
Yes.
Yeah, I will pass on the local delicacy, because the local delicacy here is raw, uncooked lobster.
And Frederick Ager, make a note of that name. That will be important in the future. Anyway.
You mean the Frederick Ager?
Yes, Frederick
from-
Ager. And I fail at clicking on the directions.
It's fine, it's fine.
Just try again. Oh, there's a guy.
What is this?
Oh yeah!
A cat!
Yeah.
I can barely see him because it was so dark.
I mean, everything is black and white. So.
Yeah.
A cat! I must pay attention to this.
Really?
So we...
A phone number.
So if we find a phone, we can call Cat Watch. And spoilers, that's actually absolutely useless. We can't do anything to progress with the game with Cat Watch number.
Do you get at least a funny
Wow.
dialogue?
You can actually get achievement for something later on, but I'm not going to do about it.
The creaky sign says.
And here's the bear. Time for more
Guy looks
cryptic
like he
people.
has a smartphone in the upper left.
Yeah, we'll deal with him later.
No, I
Anyway,
don't
the bear has been around for 300 years. It's the only public house in town. Other than that, nothing interesting. The menu...
It has a ton of bottles because. Yeah.
It's a bar, basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's like the empty bottles from like 300 years. As
Yeah.
you can see, nothing is going on.
Ancient bottles!
The bear.
It
Next
would
to
be
the
fun.
harbour.
So this is the thing I didn't notice before. You can look at all these paintings and look at them.
oh.
Like what you do with paintings, you don't steal them. Well, you could, but...
Wait,
Anyway.
you can steal them?
No.
Excuse me.
Not in this game, at least.
Can you help?
Good afternoon, stranger. What can I get you?
I'll take a bottle of still water.
And time for another dialogue tree.
Pardon me, but who are you?
Me? I'm
Oh,
Morgan,
wow.
the landlady of the Bear, and have been for a few years now.
I'm pretty sure you'd want to ask her name before you ask for a drink, otherwise things just get really awkward.
Too late.
Yeah.
Can I rent a room for a week?
All our guest rooms are taken. Busy time, May.
So there's nothing you can offer.
Well, there is the cottage on the harbour, if that suits you.
Well, I'll take anything you have.
It's clean, but a bit cluttered.
I'm none too fussy. I'm sure it will be fine.
I hope you don't mind the sounds and briny smells.
It's like she doesn't want to give him the room.
It's right
It's
on the
clean,
harbour,
but also
surrounded by what?
smelly.
Perfect. What do I owe you?
Perfect.
What?
That's-
Harbors are surrounded by water.
Here's the
If you leave
Wow.
us, Mr. Danvers. Not suspicious.
Is May a busy time for
She could say.
She'd said that
The Saxton
earlier! You don't have to
famous in these
ask!
parts. You'll be in for quite a week.
I mean, that looks like the usual dialogue where you ask.
Sorry,
everything.
it's just that she says like, "Oh, May is a busy time," and he goes like, "Oh, wait a minute, is May a busy time?"
Yes, across the
Yeah,
over the
great.
Yeah, I didn't notice that. Good call.
I'll catch you later.
perhaps.
Anyway, we can't call anyone right now, and... Oh yeah, let's see. Oh wait, do I have it written down here?
Harbour Wall.
Oh yeah. Oh wait, we haven't reached it yet. Also cat.
Ooh.
Call Cat Watch, we found a cat! And I think I actually did try to use the Cat Watch number on him, but it didn't do anything.
Oh.
And this is a poem about a Tom Oliver, some farmer boy who joined an army to fight for the king, but eventually grew dissatisfied and abandoned his position to end up being captured on his way home and arrested by his fellow soldiers.
Painting. Or a copy of one.
I don't think it's any relevance, it's just there for atmosphere. Like I mentioned before. There's a lot of that.
I can imagine how awful it would be just to take note of every single thing and then realize, oh wait, half of this stuff I've written down is pointless.
Yeah, it's kind
Red
of...
herring the game.
I mean, I guess it's realistic.
Yeah, I kind of do appreciate how they put like a lot of atmosphere to the game with all these paintings, all these poems and stuff.
Yeah, fair
But-
enough. I'll give them that.
It's really hell when you're trying to play an adventure game, trying to figure out what is important and not.
Yeah.
Because you always assume everything is going to be important, and in this game, nope, not at all.
I mean, at least you don't die because of some random stuff ages
Yeah,
ago.
but this game can get really cruel with some of the puzzles. Anyway, more sea creatures.
Sea creatures.
I don't want to eat that delicacy.
Oh no, not this game.
Yep,
Oh damn it!
I did not expect him to use the same line.
you should expect him to use the same line. He repeats dialogue a lot. Also,
I
this
will
is the
pass
point where I
on
actually
this.
couldn't figure out how to get it out of the screen, so I kind of struggled.
I'm just sorry. I'm just imagining like he's in a restaurant and he gets like lobster brought to him and says, "I don't think I'll have the local delicacy," and just stands up and leaves.
He says that for every time he sees a fish, he bothers people, he gets kicked out. Anyway, this is like the snapper. This is actually a thing we can do later on in the game once we obtain a camera to take snaps. And in the pamphlet you can read, it doesn't really tell much about the competition, but it tells you that the previous winners has been a young Oliver, not to be confused with Tom Oliver, who seems to be a local boy who can be found taking pictures around town. And he has been the winner of the competition for like several rounds. And here's the map of the town. It actually can be a bit useful to help find your way around, but otherwise it's of no importance.
It looks like a Monopoly map with the train symbol on the left. I will buy the harbor for 1,000 Monopoly units.
Money.
Or whatever.
That's probably more generous than the actual worth.
What's the unit of money in Monopoly? Is it just dollar
Just
or is
Monopoly.
it like?
It's money, I guess.
Dollars?
I don't
Is
know.
it just?
guess it's what it is.
It's capitalism. Just 100 capitalism, please.
Yes. Anyway, we get to talk to the guy with the smartphone. Well, it's actually not a real smartphone, but close enough.
Okay, I have to find out what Monopoly money is.
Oh, hello.
It's a foggy night.
Apparently it's just dollar.
Oh yeah, I forgot. The one line of dialogue didn't play for some reason.
Glory seeker.
Not exactly.
I just realized this guy actually looks a lot like Stanley from the Stanley Parable. Like his face is actually very similar to Stanley's player model.
He does actually. Good call.
And you?
Well, I'm a writer, a journalist.
Stanley's
from a local
meandering in Harbor
Guessing not
Town.
much.
Like it goes always to the same harbor. Like, oh, this fish
I'll see
stinks.
you around.
You
I cannot wait for the new ending in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, where you become a journalist and come into this really creepy town.
Wait to
that would be good.
wait to date the video, man. Oh dear.
I mean, that game ain't coming out in a long while, okay? But
True,
yeah,
but
date
still.
video.
I see the color red on the right, like glowing something.
And it's more
Really?
slow
I don't
walking.
see it.
They all sound like rude. Like, no, do you mind? Did he say, do you mind?
What are you doing? Loitering?
I'm staying nearby. Harbour Cottage?
This town attracts all sorts of freaks and losers at this time.
I love the audio quality here. Like, it's not awful, but it's very clearly
What's so
recorded in
special
somebody's
about this
bedroom.
time of
Yeah.
year?
Just like
Oh dear, not too bright, are you? Had much experience of geology, have you?
Well, no. Not really. I've always thought that,
How about
not
archaeology?
everyone has a degree in geology.
but I'm willing to
Oh,
learn.
damn.
So yeah, here we got a treasure hunter.
Do you
Johnny
believe
Thunder,
this
the
county
neckbeard
conceals
hipster.
A British Johnny Thunder. Yeah, that's a good.
Whether
Yeah,
it's
the uncool version, like.
this
You sure it would be Dr. Kilroy?
blood
Well,
and
maybe.
horror. The landscape around us has been witnessed.
This is like before he aged. This is like a younger Dr. Kilroy.
So it's like 1,000 years ago, probably.
Well, yeah, it'd be 1,000 years ago if he were a vampire or some creature that could last longer than 100 years.
Funny you should mention that. It's not too unlikely considering what happens in the
I'm
next
keen
part.
to find the treasure. Where's the best
Oh.
place to start?
Well, not a vampire, but something close to it.
Leave town.
He will become a Lego
Across the
figure.
fence.
That small.
Yep, I'm with you so far.
Get on a train and clear off back to London ASAP.
I can't do that, Mr.
Hardacre. Professor Hardacre.
No, your name is Kilroy.
Perhaps you've heard of.
I think actually, if you actually read the newspaper, his name's actually mentioned on there. So apparently, he's famous enough to be in the paper.
This seems a
Ah.
good town in which to disappear.
This is a,
On the run, are
this
we?
is like a good town to just disappear.
Just laying low for a while.
I'm totally not really
I
run from the
suggest
authorities.
making peace with who you're coming from and getting back to your own little world.
You could be right. I can but try. I'm not going back to London empty-handed.
So be it. Enjoy your stay.
And he walks off, sliding as well.
Wow.
I kind of wonder maybe. I wonder if, like, in an earlier version of the game, all the characters walked slower, but then they decided to speed it up, but didn't update the animations.
That could actually be a good theory.
It makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, no
especially
wonder. No wonder this town is isolated. Everyone is slow as fuck. It's like,
Anyway.
oh no.
Anyway,
Like-
he goes to college. and-
Time moves differently in this town.
You're probably saying that as a joke, but
Oh, no.
Maybe it's
No,
like
I'm
in a
saying
time
it's
bubble.
But I would not be surprised if that were true.
Yes, it'll have to do.
I bet it's like trapped in a time bubble and you have to solve some stupid curse or whatever.
It's just that secretly this town compared to the rest of the world is in like super hot, where the town only moves when the world. Wait. Okay, that analogy completely broke down as soon as I tried to make sense of it. Never mind.
Well,
it's okay.
this
It
is
probably makes more sense
Airbnb,
than
the
most.
bad version.
And that's the end of the first part.
Aww.